Steve Dotto here. How the heck you doing this fine day? Me? I have the feeling that you and I should take a trip in the Wayback Machine because today on Ask Dotto Tech, we were asked this question from Golf Dude. Do you have an update on these three as your newest 3 Gmail add-ons? And he's referring to a very popular video that I made a few years back where I talked about my favorite 3 Gmail add-ons. Well, in fact, Golf Dude, I do have an update to that particular video, and we will create that for you today on Dotto Tech. Yes, indeed. About 2 years ago, I produced a video of my 3 favorite Gmail add-ons. And here's that video. And if I'm taking a look at just a little bit over 2 years ago, it's got some 200,000 views, a popular video. And look at it. Let's just have a look at the glory of where we've come.
Steve Dotto.
In the old studio, the old setup.
Today,
the hair's looking good though, Steve.
Apps that you need to know to
it's looking so dark.
To make your life that much
there we
better.
go. But back in the day, before we used the green screen and all these sorts of fancy things. So the 3 Gmail add-ons that I thought were essential back in that day were Reportive, Boomerang, and Find Big Mail. Now, I still like 2 of the 3. The third, not so keen on anymore for reasons which I'll describe. But let's dive into Gmail and look at 3 add-ons that you can plug into Gmail that make it that much better. And these 3 are ones, 2 that I rely on all the time, and 1 that's a replacement for one that I used to rely on. So let's begin with the Reportive story, because Reportive was this wonderful tool that was in Gmail that used to live here in the sidebar on the right-hand side where you see FullContact, which is the one that I use now. But it used to live there, and it gave us contextual information about the person we were communicating with, allowed us to make notes on them, all sorts of things. And it was a wonderful plugin. And it was bought by LinkedIn, who have turned it into a terrible plugin, at least as far as I'm concerned. So LinkedIn purchasing this tool has basically neutered its efficiency. And so into that space, there's a variety of contenders. Now, the one that I use is called FullContact, and it does most of what Reportive does. It's a good tool. I just don't quite. It's not quite as cool because it's replacing the one that we had before. But it's a good tool. I've got demos on it here on the channel, but effectively what happens is when you open an email from anybody, so here's an email from my buddy Martin Shervington, you've got FullContact open in a sidebar. Now this works best in a desktop environment. In a notebook environment with a smaller screen, this information tends to take up too much of the screen real estate. At least it does for me. So I don't like it as much in a notebook environment. But here in the desktop, it's fine. You can see the contact information. If you go into the activity, you can see all of his social posts, at least as far as Twitter goes. And if we go, we can get some specification on the company if he's linked the company information in his contact address book. And it's very quick and easy for you to add him to your address book from here, and also make notes and tags. Now, this is quite nice because the tags work based on your Gmail contact or your Google contact tags, so that instead of having to dive into contacts through the Gmail interface, which means going over here and opening a completely new browser window, you can access those functions right here from these dialog boxes, making little notes about the person, adding tags, and kind of keeping a history of your communication. So from this point of view here, it works quite well as kind of a mini CRM, adding extra context to your contacts in your Google contacts. So FullContact replaces Reportive in our list. The second one in our list was a tool called Find Big Mail. And I still use Find Big Mail. We just did a demo on it recently. But what it does, you can see it running here. It basically parses out all of my different emails that come into my inbox that are larger than 5 or 10 megabytes with attachments, so that I can get rid of them and I don't use up all of my storage space with them. Pretty useful, but not really one of my favorite tools anymore. One of my favorite tools that always has been and currently still is Boomerang. Boomerang does so many things in Gmail. It's the one add-on that I think is almost inessential. What Boomerang does, and where the name really comes from, is this unique ability when an email comes into your inbox for you to be able to take a look at that email, decide it's not something that you want to deal with right now. So instead of leaving it cluttering your inbox, you can basically ask it to go out for an hour, just go take a coffee, and then come back in an hour or tomorrow or at some point in the future. So this allows you to keep control of the flow of information coming into your inbox, without your inbox being cluttered. If you use Boomerang and something's important, but you know you're not going to deal with it for a couple of hours, you Boomerang it out. You say, go out for a couple of hours, come back. I'll be ready to deal with you then. And then it's not haunting you in your inbox and cluttering things up. It's a great inbox zero productivity tool from that perspective. So that's the number one thing that Boomerang does, but it does other things for us as well. The other thing that it does really quite nicely is if you, like me, tend to work at multiple hours, like all hours of the evening, Boomerang adds functionality. If I was replying to Martin's email here right now, instead of sending it to him, like let's say I was working on it at 11 o'clock at night, and I didn't want him to receive it late at night. I wanted him to receive it first thing in the morning, so it's not behind all of those emails that arrived overnight. And also just the perception of me, basically stalking him by sending him an email at 11:15 at night or 11:30 at night. I'd like to eliminate that as well. So what you can do is you can just choose this send later, which allows you to basically determine the time that this message will actually be sent. So you can have it sent at 8 in the morning. So just when the first flush of email comes in and it's kind of fresh coming into his inbox, or if you know Martin checks his email at 10 in the morning, you can set it up to go in at 9:45, that sort of thing. So you can adjust when email goes. Those two features alone in Boomerang make it absolutely worthwhile. So far we've looked at the replacement, FullContact, replacing Reportive. We've eliminated Find Big Mail, although we still have props for Find Big Mail, good app. And we've got Boomerang, which we used before last time as well. We do have one new addition, and that new addition is Todoist for Gmail. This Todoist feature that now will plug Todoist into your Gmail as a plugin in your browser is a tool that I use all of the time. Todoist is a task and to-do list manager. And right here from within our email, I can just click on the Add to Todoist button, and it then syncs to my Todoist and allows me to take any email and fire it off as a task into Todoist. So this is a great way for me to stay on track with all of my different projects. Basically taking anything that I do have to act on in the future, or that is a kind of a to-do item that is generated out of my email. It allows me to sync that directly and fire it directly into Todoist. That is an essential as far as I'm concerned. Now, other task apps have similar functionality built into them, or similar plugins that you can find, but since Todoist is my task app of choice, adding it to Todoist in Gmail is, I think, one of my 3 essentials. So Steve's new list of 3 add-ons that you must look at are Boomerang, FullContact, and the Todoist Gmail plugin. I hope that you found our video today to be useful. And thank you very much, Golf Dude, for the question. This show, Ask Dotto Tech, is designed to answer the questions that you ask. And when you ask, I will do my best to answer them. Ask me questions anywhere. You can ask them on Twitter. You can send an email to us if you're subscribed to our newsletter. Just reply to the newsletter with a question. Or the best place to ask questions is right here in the comments area in YouTube. And I will do my best to answer your question. Ask Dotto Tech. There's 3 ways for you to stay in touch with us here at Dotto Tech. The first is we encourage you to subscribe to this channel. The second thing is we encourage you to subscribe to our newsletter. That way you'll hear about any upcoming events, our live webinars and tutorials that come along. And finally, Dotto Tech is a community-funded channel supported by the generosity of you folks through the crowdfunding site Patreon. I encourage you to drop by our Patreon page, see what your support means to us, and discover what perks are available to you should you choose to support us. Till next time, I am Steve Dotto. Have fun storming a castle.